as we all know, when it comes to animals, most of us fall into one of two camps: dog people or cat people. There's an overlap for sure, but usually, it's in your bones. You're one or the other. I grew up in a dog family. We had a black lab and a Dalmatian, and later a German Shepherd who became stitched into the very fabric of my childhood. From age 11 until I left for college, that dog was there. Before school, after school, on hard days, on ordinary Tuesdays that didn't seem important at the time, but somehow became the days I remember the most. My parents also decided to raise puppies for a guide dog program, future service dogs who would one day change someone else's life. Every year we'd pour our hearts into a puppy and then let it go. There are 100 life lessons in that alone, about love, about purpose, about releasing control, but that's a talk for another day. The point is, I always had dogs around. In some strange way, I think I learned to speak dog before I spoke fluent English. Their eyes, their tails, the tilt of their head, the way they lean into you, it all makes sense to me. Definitely a dog person. And then one day, I got a cat, and his name was Murdoch. He completely took over my life and quietly taught me that love doesn't always bark when it enters the room. That's also a story for another day, but he definitely expanded my heart to loving cats. Still, today, I'm talking about dogs. I was scrolling through old photos and I found one that stopped me. At the time, my roommates and I lived in a house that had an elevated back porch. You could walk underneath it. And our neighbors had the same setup. And one day they put their dog out on their back porch for a little bit, and he looked lonely. Not neglected, just alone. The kind of dog who clearly loved people. Well, I stuck my hand up towards the boards of the deck, and he started to whine softly and scooted closer to me, trying to reach me. We happened to have a ladder in the backyard, so I naturally dragged the ladder over, propped it up, and climbed until my head was level with the deck. That dog laid flat on his side, scooching and stretching his paws towards me, his face making it through the slats just to get a little bit closer. I pet him for quite a few minutes, told him he was a good boy, and then I climbed back down and went inside. One of my roommates, she snapped a picture of this, and later she said, "If I ever need to really explain who you are to someone, I would just show them this. Me, on a ladder, just trying to pet a dog." It's a little quirky, a little weird, maybe unnecessary, but it's true. And here's what that picture reminded me of. There are parts of us that are so deeply, undeniably us. The things that when people see them, they say, well, yeah, that's her. For me, one of them is dogs. I'm the person who, if I get to a party and there's a dog, I'm going to just sit on the ground and let your dog sniff me, lick me, and probably pet them for the rest of the party. I'll stop mid-sentence to say hello to a random golden retriever walking by. I've paused in other countries to pet dogs. I always like to look them in the eyes, like we're having a full conversation. And honestly, I usually think we are. When dogs like you, there's this quiet trust that happens. Dogs are usually pretty good character judges, and when one of them leans into you, or rolls over, or rests their head on your knees, it feels like a small blessing. Like they've said, you're safe. You're a good human. We tend to overlook these moments, the tiny, almost useless superpowers we seem to carry. The ones that don't necessarily earn us promotions or rounds of applause, but are undeniably part of who we are. Maybe yours isn't dogs. Maybe you're the person who makes everyone feel included at a table. Maybe you can calm a crying baby in seconds. Truly a superpower. Maybe you understand numbers or music or plants or people in a way that others just don't. It might not feel important, but it's part of your life for a reason. And it's your job to live your life to the fullest. And dogs, well, they teach us something about that too. You see, they don't live very long. Well, at least not compared to human beings. But they live well. They explode with joy when you come home. They sit by the door when you leave and whine. And if you're their person, the chosen one, there's nothing in this world more important. When they get into trouble, they sit there in trouble for a minute, and they're ready to forgive and move on the next minute. They aren't picky about food. They're just thrilled to be included. They find magic in a simple tennis ball, in a car ride, in sticking their head out the window and feeling the wind in their ears. They live in the moment. They love without calculation. They show up every single time. So, whether you're a dog person or a cat person or both or neither, I want to challenge you to be a little bit more like a dog today. Notice the simple things. Greet the people you love like you actually love them. Don't hold grudges longer than necessary. Be excited about something small. Sit close to someone on a rainy Saturday just because you can. I want to challenge you to not be afraid of your backyard ladder moments as well. The slightly odd, deeply sincere things that reveal who you really are. For me, I will always stop to pet a dog. Not because it changes the world, but because it reminds me in a small way a little bit about who I am. And what an honor it is to love something that loves you back so completely. So here's to the dogs. And here's to the parts of you that make you climb a ladder in the backyard just to pet a dog.